Good morning, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. Grandpa coming to you from the living room. It's another beautiful morning in Jacksonville Beach, and this morning we're going to do Pinocchio and his puppet show adventure, which is a Walt Disney, I guess it was a movie or something. But this is the book. There was once a kind old man named Geppetto. He lived in a little house with his goldfish Cleo and his cat Figaro. Another friend, Jiminy Cricket, lived in the house too. And so here they are. And Jiminy Cricket is a cricket. You can see him up there. And Geppetto could make wonderful things out of wood. One day he made a puppet that looked just like a boy. He called the puppet Pinocchio. How I wish Pinocchio was a real boy, he said. It would be fun to have a son. And here's him looking at the boy. And the boy actually looks a little bit like Arlo. And Grandmother and I bought you a Pinocchio, like a little figure of some sort. I don't know if it was something that was supposed to go on your Christmas tree or that was a toy. I forget. A good fairy heard Geppetto's wish. That night she came to his house when everyone was sleeping. She touched Pinocchio with her wand. Suddenly the little wooden puppet came to life. And here he is, coming to life. Puppet boy, come to life. Geppetto was asleep in the background there. And what did Pinocchio do first? He tried to take Cleo out of the goldfish bowl, so he's a real boy. Little girls usually don't do crap like that, but little boys tend to, what do they call it? Act out. No, no, Pinocchio, cried Jiminy Cricket. Put that fish right back. And so we see here Jiminy Cricket winds up being his conscience. The noise woke up Geppetto. He could not believe his eyes. There was his wooden puppet singing and dancing. The old man was so happy he hugged Pinocchio. My son, he said, my own little wooden son. There they are. Geppetto wanted to cook breakfast for Pinocchio, but there was nothing to eat. Let me go out and buy some food, Father, said Pinocchio. So he's willing to go on errands and stuff, so he's not all bad. He's got Jiminy Cricket with him. My, what a good boy you are, said Geppetto. The old man gave Pinocchio some money and a list of things to buy. Jiminy Cricket was not so sure that Pinocchio was a good boy. Yeah, I'm not either. I will just follow him and see, he said to himself. So, Jiminy Cricket's, we should all have a Jiminy Cricket in our life. It's called our conscience. Your conscience tells you that, hey, stop doing this. It's wrong. Pinocchio walked happily down the street. He smiled at everybody. Everybody smiled at him. It was fun to be out in the big world by himself. A boy named Lampwick was also out by himself. Lampwick was not a good boy. He told stories that were not true. He even stole things. When Lampwick saw Pinocchio, he said, Aha, I bet I can trick that wooden head. So everybody knows that this kid's wooden boy. And here he comes, and there's Lampwick up against the post there, and all the nice people of the town hanging out, but bad stuff's gonna happen. There's even a monkey grinder. See him? Organ grinder. See the Italian-looking guy with the monkey? He plays this thing. He turns it around and it makes music, and the monkey is on a leash, and the monkey goes around with a cup and goes, hey, and people put money in the cup. And there was a lady putting money in the cup. You can see it. My friend, said Lampwick, what do you have there? Money, said Pinocchio. I am going to buy food. Why not buy candy, said Lampwick. It tastes better. No, no, Pinocchio, don't listen, called Jiminy Cricket. Pinocchio paid no attention. He followed Lampwick to the store, so he wanted to buy what tasted better. So he's not listening to his conscience. He's not listening to Jiminy Cricket. And there he is, not listening to Jiminy Cricket. See Jiminy down there going like, no, no, don't do it. Don't do it, boy. You're going to get in trouble. Your nose is going to grow. It's going to be crazy. Where did you get so much money? Asked the lady in the candy store. My father gave it to me, said Pinocchio. To buy candy? Asked the lady. Yes, to buy candy. This was not true. Suddenly, Pinocchio's nose started to grow longer. Aha! He took his candy out of the store as fast as he could. So, we see that in the top one, Pinocchio's nose hasn't started to grow yet. And in the bottom one, it has. You better watch out, Arlo. This kid's a little older than you. You're not being sent to the store yet. You're not able to make these candy versus real food decisions yet. And you don't have a cricket. Let me hold the bag, said Lampwick. It will be safer with me. I'm bigger. Pinocchio held out the bag of candy. To his surprise, Lampwick grabbed it and ran away. That was the end of his candy. So he's being bullied by Lampwick. But he's just a brand new boy. It's pretty crazy that within a day of this thing becoming a real boy, they go, yeah, here's some money, go to the store. So the whole time Jiminy Cricket's been there. If you've been paying attention to the pictures, he's in them. What happened? Asked Jiminy. Where's all your father's money? I lost it, said Pinocchio. Right away, his nose grew still longer. You did not lose the money, said Jiminy. You used it for candy. Well, at least take what is left and buy a little food for Geppetto. And here's, see at the top, Jiminy's scolding him. And Jiminy always has an umbrella for some reason. Jiminy always thinks that it's going to rain. And then his nose grows, and now Jiminy's taking him to someplace else and with his big nose. Big nose boy. He's a big nose boy. As he walked towards home, Pinocchio held the bag of food in front of his face. He did not want anyone to see his long nose. A sly old fox and a thin, hungry cat were hiding by a bridge. Look at that little wooden head, said the hungry cat. He has a sack of food. So, let's see if we can find these people here. Can you find the cat and the, what else is it? Fox. The cat and the fox. I think that's them right there. What do you think? And Wooden Head Boy's gone past. I don't see him in this. Hello, my fine lad, said the fox. You look like just the sort of boy who might want to see a puppet show. A puppet show, cried Pinocchio. Oh, yes, I certainly would. How can I get in? And here they are. Once again, taking advantage of him. I have a ticket, said the fox. If you give us your food, I will give you my ticket. That is your sack of food, isn't it? Oh, yes, said Pinocchio. Another lie. So what do you think happened when he lied? His nose grew longer yet, but he didn't care. He had his ticket. Ticket to the puppet show. Probably going to see some of his cousins. Because he's a puppet boy. A line of people were waiting to get into the puppet show. They got mad at Pinocchio when he bumped them with his long nose. Better not tell any more lies, said Jiminy Cricket. You already have too much nose for a puppet your size. So here's people going to the puppet show and a little fancy French dog and Pinocchio with his long nose poking the lady. Step up, called the man waiting at the ticket stand. Pinocchio stepped up. He gave the man his ticket. This is no ticket, said the man. It's just a piece of paper. Go away, little boy, and take your long nose with you. And there he is trying to use a counterfeit ticket. Hope he doesn't wind up in puppet prison. Let's go to juvie. Poor Pinocchio. He had no money, no food, no ticket. He sat down on a box and began to cry. Just then a man peeked out of the tent. The man was Stromboli, the puppet master. And here's Stromboli. I don't think I like Stromboli, but I like Stromboli the food. My, said Stromboli, a puppet without any strings. Can you do anything but cry, little puppet? So he saw him crying, and he wants to know, well, listen, show me your whole act. I can dance and sing, said Pinocchio. Show me, said Stromboli. Here he is with Stromboli. Pinocchio danced. He sang. He turned cartwheels, and he even stood on his head. And boy, oh boy, Stromboli is very, very happy about that. Because I think he thinks that he can take advantage of him. Then Stromboli showed his puppets to Pinocchio. He pulled their strings, and the puppets kicked their feet. You don't need any strings, said Stromboli. Come with us. You will be the star of our show. Don't listen, Pinocchio. Go home to Geppetto, said Jiminy. But Pinocchio did not want to go home. He wanted to be a star. And it is a Disney production, and he is the star of the production. The show started, and Pinocchio began to dance. Look, no strings, he called. Everybody cheered. And here he is, showing off with his big nose and no strings. No strings attached. but the other puppets had strings. Pinocchio's long nose got caught in those strings. He crashed to the floor. Everybody started to laugh. Suddenly, Pinocchio was very unhappy. He did not like to have people laugh at him. I am not such a great star after all, he said. I want to go home to Geppetto. So, he wanted to be a serious actor. People make a lot of money letting people laugh at them. Oh no, you are not going home, said Stromboli. You belong to me now. This birdcage will be your home, my little long-nosed friend. And here he is. He's going to put him in the birdcage. Help, called Pinocchio from inside the cage. Let me out. But the puppets could not help. They could not move unless someone pulled their strings. Jiminy could not help either. He was too small, but he could get help. So now Pinocchio finally sees what's happened because of his lying. Jiminy ran quickly to Geppetto's house. Geppetto, he called, you must come save Pinocchio. Stromboli, the puppet master, has put him in a cage. My poor little Pinocchio in a cage, said Geppetto. And here's that conversation. And here's the next one, which I'm sure is him going through town. The old man followed Jiminy down the dark street. He was carrying a lantern in one hand, and that's what that is. They found Pinocchio in his cage in Stromboli's tent. Don't worry, my son, said Geppetto. I will help you. He opened the cage and lifted Pinocchio out. Suddenly, Stromboli came running. Thief, he cried, that is my puppet. And here's the whole scene here. Run, Pinocchio, shouted Geppetto. Pinocchio ran. Geppetto ran too, but the old man did not see the open trunk. He fell into it. Aha! Now I have you, shouted Stromboli in a terrible voice. Aha! Aha! Guess that's it. I will save you, father, called Pinocchio. Quickly, he went up a ladder to the place where the puppets were hanging. And here he is going up the old ladder. Pinocchio dropped the puppets, strings and all, onto Stromboli. The puppet master could not move. Geppetto was safe. And there's Jiminy Cricket up there watching and still waiting for the rain to start. My good, brave Pinocchio, said Geppetto, and he hugged his little son. Fast as they could, Geppetto, Pinocchio, and Jiminy ran off towards home. As soon as they were safe at home, Geppetto took a good look at Pinocchio. What has happened to your nose? Tell him the truth now, said Jiminy. This time Pinocchio did tell the truth. He told Geppetto about everything just as it happened. While he talked, his nose got shorter and shorter. And here it is. Shorter and shorter. Finally, it was just the way Geppetto had made it. Never again, Pinocchio decided, would he tell another lie. And there he is, The end. Peace out.